Friends, we all know about India and Pakistan. Nuclear-armed neighbors, historic rivals, and a shared border that's basically a fault line of tension. For decades, the threat of war has loomed, but in 2030, this threat feels terrifyingly real. The doomsday clock is ticking louder than ever. Why? Well, buckle up, because the news isn't good. Both countries are armed to the teeth. Kashmir remains a constant flashpoint, and political instability in Pakistan is like pouring gasoline on a bonfire. Add in resource scarcity, terrorism, and a serious lack of communication, and you've got a recipe for disaster. We're talking full-blown war, folks, the kind with consequences that could ripple across the globe. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about facing reality. The situation is dire and the world needs to pay attention. Because if this bomb explodes, everyone gets caught in the blast radius. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Kashmir. This disputed territory has been a bone of contention between India and Pakistan since, well, forever. Both countries claim it as their own and neither seems willing to budge. We've already seen multiple wars fought over this land, and the scars run deep. In 2023, things took a turn for the worse. India revoked Article 370, stripping Kashmir of its special status. Pakistan cried foul, tensions soared, and the situation on the ground became even more volatile. Fast forward to 2030, and the resentment simmers. The revocation is a festering wound, and any misstep could rip it wide open. Let's be clear, there are no good guys or bad guys here. Just two countries locked in a bitter struggle, each convinced they have the rightful claim. But this isn't a game of risk. People's lives are at stake. Meanwhile, over in Pakistan, the political landscape looks like a house of cards in a hurricane. The 2024 elections were a mess, marred by accusations of rigging and violence. The resulting government is shaky at best, and the military is casting a long shadow over everything. The problem is, when a country is struggling to keep its own house in order, it's easier to get distracted by external threats. A good old-fashioned war with India, that might be just the ticket to rally the people and deflect attention from internal problems. Dangerous? Absolutely. But desperate times call for desperate measures, or so the thinking goes. And let's not forget about the various militant groups operating within Pakistan's borders. From Baloch separatists to the Taliban, they're all adding fuel to the fire. A destabilized Pakistan is a threat to everyone, including India. Speaking of terrorism, it's no secret that India and Pakistan have been accusing each other of sponsoring it for decades. India blames Pakistan for harboring groups that launch attacks on Indian soil. Pakistan returns the favor, pointing the finger at India for supporting separatists in Balochistan. Now imagine a scenario where a major terrorist attack occurs in either country. The casualties are high, the public outcry is deafening, and the pressure to retaliate is immense. In the heat of the moment, with emotions running high, it wouldn't take much for things to spiral out of control. Remember, this is a region where even a small spark can ignite a wildfire, and terrorism is a very big spark indeed. Section 5, Water Wars. Fighting for every drop. Here's a fun fact. Both India and Pakistan rely heavily on the Indus River system for their water supply. For years, a treaty has been in place to govern how the water is shared, but as climate change tightens its grip, water scarcity is becoming a major issue, and when resources are scarce, people tend to get a little protective. Imagine a future where droughts are commonplace and water tables are plummeting. Suddenly, that treaty doesn't look so appealing anymore. Accusations of water hoarding fly back and forth, and before you know it, you've got a water war on your hands. It sounds like something out of a dystopian movie, but it's a very real possibility. After all, they don't call it liquid gold for nothing. Section 6, Dialogue, Drought, a recipe for disaster. You know what they say, communication is key. Unfortunately, in the case of India and Pakistan, the key seems to be lost somewhere down the back of the sofa. Bilateral talks have been stalled for years. and back-channel communication is practically non-existent. This lack of communication is incredibly dangerous. Without a way to talk to each other, to address grievances and de-escalate tensions, misunderstandings are bound to happen. And in a region as volatile as this, misunderstandings can quickly escalate into something far worse. It's like two people trying to navigate a minefield while blindfolded. Sooner or later, something's gonna blow. Section 7. A region on fire, the global fallout. Okay, so India and Pakistan go to war. Bad news for them, obviously. But what about the rest of the world? Well, friends, when elephants fight, the grass gets trampled. And in this case, the grass is the entire global community. Let's start with the regional impact. A war would throw South Asia into chaos, destabilizing neighboring countries and triggering a massive refugee crisis. Afghanistan, already struggling, would be caught in the crossfire. Iran, with its own tensions with Pakistan, wouldn't be immune either. Then there's the global economy. India and Pakistan are major players in the global market. A war would disrupt supply chains, send shockwaves through financial markets, and likely trigger a global recession. Remember the 2008 financial crisis? This would be way worse. And of course, we can't forget about the nuclear elephant in the room. Both India and Pakistan have nuclear weapons. And while a full-blown nuclear exchange is unlikely, hopefully, even a limited nuclear conflict would have catastrophic consequences for the entire planet. We're talking nuclear winter, folks. Not exactly a picnic. Section 8, Averting Armageddon, a Glimmer of Hope. So that all sounds pretty bleak, right? Well, here's the good news. It's not too late to change course. War isn't inevitable. But it's going to take a serious effort from both India and Pakistan, as well as the international community. First and foremost, we need dialogue, lots of it. India and Pakistan need to find a way to sit down and talk, without preconditions and with a genuine desire to find a peaceful resolution. This might require third-party mediation from countries like the US or China, or from international organizations like the UN. The international community also needs to step up and provide support. This could mean offering economic incentives for peace, imposing sanctions on those who undermine the peace process, or providing humanitarian assistance to those affected by the conflict. Section 9. Conclusion. Choosing peace over the abyss. Look, I'm not naive. I know that peace between India and Pakistan won't happen overnight. The issues are complex, the wounds run deep, and mistrust is rampant. But that doesn't mean we should give up hope. The alternative, a war with potentially catastrophic consequences, is simply unacceptable. We owe it to ourselves, to future generations, and to the planet to choose peace. It's time for India and Pakistan to step back from the brink and choose dialogue over destruction. The world is watching and hoping.